What's going on, guys? Welcome to Yoda Expedition. Today we're going to be taking a look at the center console Molle panel for the 4Runner from CaliRaised LED. This kit is going to include two Molle panels, one for either side of your center console, allowing you to mount any sort of Molle accessory to the side of your center console. These are going to give you quick and easy access to all your everyday carry items instead of having them in your glove box or in your center console. Installing this kit is going to be pretty easy. The tools you're going to need are a drill with a 3/8 drill bit. We have some tape on there to act as a stop, so when you go and drill through your center console, you're not going to be drilling too far and hitting things like wires and stuff like that. We also have a 7/16 wrench and a 1/2" wrench. So let's take a look at all of the hardware that's included in the kit. So you're going to have 6 riv nuts in the kit. There's going to be 3 per each panel, and then we're going to have some spacers here. You're going to have 4 that are short and 2 that are long. So 2 short spacers and 1 long spacer is going to go to each Molle panel. And then we have our screws and our washers. And then we also have our tool here, which is just going to be a bolt and a longer nut. And this is what we're going to be using to compress these riv nuts into your center console so they don't go anywhere. So for this whole tool setup, this is going to be slipped into the hole in your center console. You can see how it's cut here all the way around. So you're going to put the bolt in, tighten this down until you make contact with this bigger nut. You're going to hold this with a 1/2" wrench, and then this is a 7/16 wrench. You're going to tighten this bolt down, and what it's going to do is squeeze this together, and it's going to clamp this into your center console, and then you'll have a permanent nut there. So that pretty much covers everything here and what we're going to be doing. So let's go ahead and hop in the 4Runner. So the first thing that we need to do is remove our shift knobs. We have some Tinker Design shift knobs on here. If you want to grab a set, you can head over to Yoda Expedition and grab a set for your 4Runner. But these simply just screw right off, both your regular transmission and your transfer case. You can pull those off. Now we need to pull off this whole upper section here. Pretty easy. We're just going to grab it here in the cup holder section, and we're going to pull up. Work your way around and undo all the clips. And make sure to unplug this harness right here. And then we can go ahead and pull that right off. So with the top of this off, we can go ahead now and lay out the holes on the side for drilling our holes. And the reason we put that tape on the drill bit is because inside here you have a wiring harness, which you don't want to be hitting with the drill, and you also have an air duct. You don't want to be drilling that into that either. So let's grab the Molle panel. We'll set it up here on the side and we'll get our holes marked out. I also forgot to mention you're going to need a 4mm Allen wrench for those screws. And then we also have a Sharpie here for marking out our holes. As far as the Molle panel goes, these are not side specific. They're cut exactly the same, but you just want to be putting the taller portion towards the front of your center console. And then we are going to be using these 2 front holes here and this hole here. Those are going to be the 3 mounting holes that we're using. As far as lining this up for where we're going to mount it, there's no right or wrong way of doing it. Before we move forward, I just want to say that where we mounted it is probably not the best spot. What I would do is move the Molle panel back maybe about a 1/2", or move it so that the rear hole is down about a 1/2". Otherwise, it's going to interfere with some stuff inside the center console, which you see we're going to struggle with. But what we're going to be doing is the top Molle cutouts, we're going to be lining up so that it's flush with the top section of the center console. And then for the how far front we want to do it, this right here, we're going to line up with this section here. It doesn't need to be perfect. So we'll go ahead and get it lined up, something like that, and we'll mark out our holes. So I grabbed an automatic center punch here. This is just going to help me mark my holes for when I start drilling. I also did grab a 1/8" drill bit to use as a pilot bit instead of just going right for the 3/8 bit. So I'm going to go ahead, mark out these holes drill them out with the 1/8 inch drill bit and then the 3/8 drill bit, and then we can get these riv nuts installed. Just put very light pressure on the drill bit. If you're using a little pilot bit, I didn't put tape on that, so you don't want that to go plunging through and hit something you don't want. So just go really slow, push really lightly. As soon as it breaks through, you know that you're good to go. All right, now I'm gonna take my 3/8 drill bit and slowly get this drilled out until I hit the tape stop, just like that. We're good. There we go. All right, so we ran into a little bit of an issue, but it's gonna be fixable. Where we had this mounted, it is in a good location because we currently have our seat all the way back and we have the whole Molle panel showing. If we were to move this back anymore, when you have the seat in an actual usable position, you're gonna be covering up like half of it. So we had this in a good location, but where we drilled this hole, there's some stuff here that's getting in the way from allowing us to fully get this riv nut placed in. So what we're going to be doing is taking out this 10mm bolt. We're going to pull this plastic away from this metal bracket, pop this in, and we're going to tighten it down so that it's crimped in place, and then everything should fit back to how it should. So we're going to go ahead and tighten this up until it gets snug. You don't want to over tighten it because you could pull it through the plastic. All right, I can feel some resistance now. I'm going to go ahead and back this bolt out. So we got that riv nut installed and we got that 10mm bolt started back in there. It is a bit tight, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to get this bolt started. And you also need to pull out this plastic clip here. There is a metal bracket inside that this clips into. You have to push on the sides and pop it out. This was getting in the way of the riv nut being able to go in far enough to get the hole lined up for this 10mm bolt. So we had to unclip that, which is perfectly fine. But in order to get the Molle panel to sit level and flush the way that we wanted it to, that's what we had to do in order to get it to fit. If you want, you can just move the whole Molle panel back maybe about a 1/2 inch and you should be okay. Hopefully you won't run into that problem then. The two up front, we should have no issues. Just we'll go ahead and pop those in. And then we will go ahead and tighten this down, get them compressed, and we can get the Molle panel installed. All right, we got the other 2 riv nuts in and tight. We got the bolt through here with the longer washer in the back. I'm going to go ahead and get that started. And then the 2 shorter washers we'll put here in the front. We'll get that started. Pretty solid. So passenger side is done. Everything looks good. It's pretty sturdy. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the driver side. We shouldn't have any issues over there with the riv nuts hitting anything. There's more room on that side. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing I did, get this side installed. All right, we got both Molle panels now installed in the 4Runner. So that's pretty much it. We can go ahead and reinstall the top part of the center console. Don't forget to plug in your harness, line everything up, clip it in, make sure your shift boot is over that, and then we can go ahead and reinstall our shift knobs. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap this one up. We got both sides of the Molle panels installed on the center console. We have a couple of different accessories there, just to get an idea of what you can mount. And we did run into a little bit of trouble, but that's why we do these install videos, so that we run into the trouble and hopefully you don't. So if you wanna pick up a set of these for your 4Runner, you can head over to yodaexpedition.com, click the link in the description. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.